Hi, my name's Cody. I'm the owner of Bear Claw Creative, and today we're going to be talking about different ways to optimize your website to get higher conversion rates. These are all ways that I've actually improved websites for clients, for jobs that I've worked for. These are actual things that I've seen work and be effective. So the first one actually is optimized for the audience. And what that means is making sure that your website, your copy, the photography that you use, the style of videos that you shoot all feel and look like they are maybe even from the audience. This is a great way to connect with your core audience while at the same time growing. What a lot of people have done is they accidentally fall into this. They're not specifically trying to find an audience. They found an audience on accident, or they just allowed it to happen. They're not specifically searching out these groups. So what I've done in the past is changed the models actually for an e-commerce site. So there was an e-commerce site I was working with that was, their demographic was the 55 plus white women. And what we actually ended up doing was changing out the model. So we had previously used a model that was somewhere in the range, I believe she was 28. So very large difference. The thought was that the younger audience member would feel like a more Victorian-esque individual. That's who we were shooting for. We were selling Victorian products, Victorian-styled products. What ended up happening was the group felt disassociated. The women that were purchasing didn't purchase as much gowns, accessories, things like that we shot on this individual as they would if we just shot it on a mannequin. What we ended up doing was we ended up testing a older model, someone who actually fit the demographic, age 55, white female. So we brought her in and we started using her for photography. And what we saw was that those products actually started performing better on our website. We unfortunately did not have the budget, and this is one big issue. You didn't have the budget to match the audience. So that individual was we had time constraints with her, as well as just we didn't have the finances to purchase time from another person, from another model. And so we were not able to fully utilize this, but we did see some really great results from our test. That was optimizing for the audience. The example that I give on our YouTube channel is about Levi jeans, and I would suggest you go over there and you watch that. Another example where changing out the model made a big difference. You can also optimize for copy, making sure that you're writing your copy in the style that the audience would want to interact with. The best thing that you can do on my side, what I would tell you to do, is to go and find an influencer that truly models the audience and captures the audience that you're looking for, that also kind of matches the aesthetic as well as the core values that your company holds. By doing that, you can see kind of how the individual writes, their copy and the way that they communicate with their audience. They've shown already how, and this is just a quick little hack to jump in and see exactly how they're interacting with the people. So the next thing that I would do to advise you to do is actually look at how people are interacting on your website. When I was working with a tech company here in Kansas City, it was a startup. We were specifically building an application, a mobile and desktop application. And what we ended up finding is they didn't know what was happening on their website. By adding in quite a few different tags on Google Analytics, which there's a lot of great pre-built tags on Google Tag Manager that you can actually put into your tag manager and see the analytics of that data when you go into your Google Analytics page. So when you go into your account, you can actually see, okay, did an individual get 50% down a page, 100% down a page? Did they leave a purchasing page? What was the website they exited, or what was the URL extension that they exited on? So did they abandon cart? Did they, what did they do? Understanding this sort of data is imperative to upgrade your website. You want to be able to make improvements by understanding if someone clicks on one button and doesn't click on another, or if you have a homepage and a third of it is completely unused by the majority of your users, you have an issue there. It could be a design issue. It could be the layout is not intuitive to the individual. It doesn't make sense to scroll down farther because I already have everything that I want. That might be an opportunity to even cut your page shorter or create engaging content that is more inclusive, more interesting, lower down on the page. If you don't know this data, if you don't look at this information, if you don't have this knowledge, you'll never know. You'll just assume. You're going to continue to assume, and assuming is not a way that a marketer should exist. So what we want to do is we want to add something in there. You can use Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager and look at data that way. Facebook actually has something very similar with their pixel tagging, their pixel events, and you can go and you can track data that way. I would not suggest I wouldn't say that's the best way, but Google Analytics has been around a little bit longer, but that is a way. If you'd like to get all of the data in one spot, and you're specifically using the Facebook business tool consistently, that's a great place. But it's not my favorite place. One of the best things that I've seen done, and that we actually did at my last job, was Hotjar. So we used Hotjar as a way to see button engagement. So you can see a heat map of, if people are clicking or not. Just understanding if people are clicking or not makes a huge difference, and understanding, is this an important change? Optimizing time, and especially when it comes to if you're using a developer or if you're using a designer and a developer to actually get this task done, then optimizing time to make sure that you're improving what you need to improve is absolutely, it's a 100% money saver. What Hotjar does is it creates heat maps. It understands user interaction, and it also does recordings of users. What you can do is you can actually look at users who use your website for a longer period of time. So if I happen to sit on your website for 45 minutes and I'm just sitting on the homepage, it's probably not a good user interaction. But if I was a strongly engaged 30 plus minute user, that individual has key action points that you need to take into effect. You need to look at them and be able to say, that individual did this, this, and this. Maybe I should start testing. The other thing that you can do is you can start A/B testing the design and the layout of your website, so you can optimize the website to maximum capacity. When you have people showing up on your website and you're not A/B testing or optimizing or improving in any way, it really feels stale, honestly. But not just stale, you're losing out on conversions because you're just not sure what the user's doing when they hit the page. So number 2, I would say, know what they're doing. Know what what your customer is doing on your website. Know where they exit. Know what they almost put in. If you have a form and you can check to see how many pieces of information have that they filled in on that form. And if they didn't fulfill the final, submit, then you can actually run advertisements against that. If that's an issue, then you can start looking at, okay, people are not filling out the form at the bottom of the page. That's the main thing we want them to do. What I can do now is I can run an advertisement on social media. I can run it on Google AdWords or YouTube or another channel, and I can start running advertisements against these individuals, trying to get them back to a page, and maybe build out a special landing page for that individual. Or group is more likely what you're going to end up doing, building out a landing page for that group of people who did not fulfill X step, whether it be checkout, whether it be filling out a form, or whether it be, contact form or something like that. Knowing that how this interaction happens is 100% imperative. You cannot function as a website or an e-commerce site. You can't function really as a digital business in any form if you're not able to see how users are getting to you, but also what's happening on your website when they get there. The next thing I would say is, the next piece I would say is have levels of conversion. If you have not worked with a marketer before, or you're not maybe as connected in marketing, which is completely fine. There's a reason that marketers exist. Not everybody's built to be a marketer. Not everybody's built to do what a marketer does. It's just the reality of running a business. Maybe you're not the main salesperson. Maybe you're not the main producer. Maybe whatever you do that you sell is not your main task. So understanding, this may not be a strong subject, then understanding what levels of conversion is, this might be the first time you hear it. So by levels of conversion, I mean you want to have just that, levels of conversion. If you're an e-commerce site, so I sell a product on my website, then you're going to want to have other opportunities for an individual to connect with you on a different level. That may be following my Facebook page, subscribing to our YouTube channel, signing up for an email subscription, signing up for a text notification, getting push notifications. These are all things that can be major to connect an individual to your brand. And it doesn't just necessarily have to be Facebook or YouTube. It can be any social media platform, especially if you're focusing on a specific social media platform that is perfect for your age demographic or your group demographic. If I am in a B2B space, most likely following us on LinkedIn or connecting with a business email is a little bit more important than having you connect with our business TikTok. On the opposite end, if my demographic is somewhere in the teens to early 20s, connecting with our TikTok might be a little bit more important than connecting with our LinkedIn page. As well, the email may not be that big of a deal. If this individual doesn't particularly use email, then text message might be a better option for you. Receiving some form of data is seen as a lower level conversion point. I didn't get what I was expecting, which was a purchase, but I got something while you were on the site. I got something while you were connecting with my brand. And usually that's a piece of information. The way that you can optimize this even further is to start offer things beyond just connection points. So if you reached one of my old websites that I worked with, we actually gave you a 10% off coupon with your first purchase. So if you were able to do that, then I have your email address, and now I can put you in a first purchase funnel. If I put you in a first purchase funnel, then I can start working on you as an individual before we start sending you off into the main purchase group. So the main group is just, the big conglomerate of every single individual that has submitted an email. What I can do is I can create a specific flow for an individual who is a new individual and send them specific emails that will help them come back to our website. These can be emails like 10% off. They can be emails like additional 5% for people who have not used the 10% yet. This can be a one-time offer that we add in there for a 2-month follow-up. So if the individual purchased that with that 10%, and then I had a follow-up email shoot out to them, say, hey, we're doing another 10% off if you want to use it. It's a 1 week only coupon or deal if you want to use it. We would love for you to come back to the site. Putting these individuals and making sure that they are able to convert in a different way, in a more effective way, maybe not even effective way. What I'd probably say is convert in a different capacity than you expected. So it may not be a purchase, but maybe a piece of information or a way to connect with them again. These are absolutely imperative. If you have a digital brand, if you're growing a website, if you're an e-commerce site, you have to have these things in place. Connect on social, connect with email. Text is always a great option. Push notifications, where they actually receive a push notification to their phone, has been really successful for me as well. Users usually open a text or a push. Email, it's all dependent on, subject line, this, that, and the other. The open rates on push and text is insane. So I would suggest, if you're an e-commerce site, I would suggest you guys look at that. We saw amazing conversions. I think we saw like a 15% sign up of email users. So people who submitted their email, they also sign up for text. And we ended up with, a really great number. I don't know if I even need to say the number, but it was like, we ended up with a lot more conversions than we actually thought. And we ended up with people converting on text better than on email. There were less errors, less messed up emails, less fake emails, less things like that. And we ended up getting really good conversions on those. So have levels of conversion, have easy things as well as payment. Have payment through data, have payment through another way to connect with the individual. Email, text, social. The next thing I would say is actually, I'm not a design person. I'm not particularly, focused on design as my main goal. I love working in marketing and see marketing grow and seeing conversions and seeing businesses grow in that way. But one thing that I would say is to make things move. If you make things move, then it draws attention to the individual. What do I mean by that? By making the text fade in, by making the page load as you scroll down, by adding in videos, by adding in GIFs, by adding in background images that are moving images. Doing things like that is huge in comparison to simplified static pages. Now, a simplified static page is great for speed. You're looking at, substantially faster. If you're looking at mobile loading times, just improving how many things move or adjusting when they load is huge to the actual website. But adding in these things can energize your web page. I'm sorry. Adding in these things can energize your web page. Having a video that they can play that is hosted on a different place like Vimeo or even YouTube, it helps with conversions because it gives someone an opportunity to connect with your brand on a different level. By also having pop-ups. So if your email subscribe pop-up is set on a timer, usually I would suggest anywhere between 5 to 7 seconds, maybe even more, depending on how dense the copy or content is on the site. The denser the content, you're probably going to want to extend that time frame. You're going to want the individual to be able to connect with the page in some way before you ask them for a conversion point like this. But adding in web videos, adding in photography of a specific thing. So if you're a clothing brand, adding in beautiful photography that is moving. Sliders are really great. They're called other things. I can't remember what they're called right now, but sliders are great. Moving images, text loading in. If you go to awards.com, there's actually their website awards. So what they do is they look at people who have designed great websites, and they start adding different ways that you can win, different ways that you can, different winners, basically different websites that have won for certain things. And in all of those, you can go see that the majority of what they do is they have something, some way of making their website a little bit more connecting by adding this motion or movement, adding animation to text, adding animation to images, and as well adding in videos. All of these things are great for your website because it just feels like the website's more alive. It's actually been known to convert better. Video converts really well, especially for advertisements. I mean, everybody knows that video converts really well for ads, for, social media ads, for television ads, for things like that. But it also converts really well on your website. So make things move. Make them move. Make your website connective. Increase the connectivity on your website, the opportunity to, or basically even just the novelty, I guess. It's maybe that's not the right word, but how people can remember your site, make it memorable. That's it. Animation, video, things like that will make your website memorable. And the last thing is to optimize where you are online. You want to be everywhere. And by that, I mean you want to be on all the channels that you can be. This may sound daunting for quite a few people. I have been met with plenty of complaints, concerns, all kinds of things where people are saying, isn't that a waste of time? I don't have this time is another major thing whenever it comes to social media content. Making content for people, making content for themselves. They say, I don't have enough time to do that. I need 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a week, and I just don't have that. And I completely understand. It's not easy. There's a reason that my company exists. People can't do it. They either hire someone who just is completely maxed out and can't push more content out, or they haven't met the system that really helps them put out a lot of content. And I'm not just talking about content. I'm talking about blog posting. I'm talking about making YouTube videos. I'm talking about if you're on an e-commerce site and you have not signed up for Google Shopping yet, man, Google Shopping, it was so great for our e-commerce site. It put some real dollars in the bank. Putting out content on Pinterest and making sure that your Pinterest is up to date and connected. We saw great conversions through that. Organic Pinterest was great. We had I had such a great conversion on organic Pinterest when I started changing some things on organic Pinterest. It was insane, especially when I optimized using the trend tool. New video is going to come out on that. Optimizing with the trend tool. Man, if you want to convert from Pinterest, optimize with the trend tool. But it sounds daunting to a lot of people. I can't put out, 6 videos a week. I can't put out 8 videos a week. I can't put out 1 video a week. If I'm lucky, I can get out maybe 1 blog post a month. what you can do is implement a cut down strategy. I talk about this in a different video. It's coming out soon. I would highly advise you subscribe to our YouTube channel or come back to this podcast for the cut down strategy. It is major. I mean, I've implemented the cut down strategy for a couple people now, and it has 500% growth, 500% viewership growth in just implementing the cut down strategy. I've seen SEO growth, boosted numbers of, from second to first page, from lower first page to upper first page on keywords, and domain. Google has made some domains that I've connected with or worked on grow super fast by implementing this strategy. And it enables us to do one thing: increase the amount of eyes that could connect with us. By posting, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times a week, 9 times a week, 16 times a week on social, you can multiply that by, let's just say 100. That's 1,600 new people. 1,600. And we all know, because everybody who has social knows, you don't just get 100 views on a piece of content. The better performing pieces of content, organic wise, depending on how big your reach is, 3, 5, 600, thousands even, depending on your channel and the channel you're using and how great the piece of content is. All of this comes into play, but just putting out content is huge for your brand. Connecting with people, if you want to talk about connecting with your audience, connecting with your customer, putting out content that shows the individual that you care a lot about what you're doing, it changes the game. So, multi-platform. This means social, SEO, SEM, Google Shopping for e-commerce, being on Pinterest, which I guess you could classify as social, email, text. Going back to what we've already talked about, email, text, push notification is great. I've even seen a B2B written letter work, convert, pretty well, depending on how hot the lead is, really. Getting phone numbers and phone calls and getting in individuals who have at least interest and continually keeping up with those individuals. Making sure that, leads don't go cold. Doing these things like these, this is my last and final thing, be everywhere. Getting everywhere. Being as present online as possible. Carving out your little island. So if the internet is a sea of information, then you need to carve out your little island where your followers, where your audience, where your customers are able to connect with you regularly. We've seen really big brands grow huge through social media. Really big brands. Talk about Wish, multi-million-dollar company, literally used Facebook advertisements and organic content to grow its brand. It's insane the way that they were able to just spend all of their money on Facebook advertisement and social or organic social, and they blew up. There's some other brands like ColourPop. ColourPop has been great on social. What they ended up using was influencers and connecting with them online. But another great brand that was able to grow to a huge size. Even the Kylie Jenner brand really is. She's an influencer who is able to connect with her audience, put out content that they wanted to see, which was her, and connect with her, and then she puts out a product that everybody freaks out about and starts buying up. Enough to where we were watching a documentary on this, but enough to where the Kylie Jenner makeup line has a bunch of fakes and frauds, and they're filled with, all kinds of bad stuff. It's funny how being everywhere means connecting better with your audience. It also changes the way you think. You're able to put a face to the customer when you're truly connected. And hiring out and having someone who's, really focused on growing that audience and making sure that they're really taken care of, it will change your brand. I mean, it'll change your company. It'll change the bottom line. Obviously, you're going to see increases in conversions. You're going to see an increase in users on your website, but you're also going to see just the things that your customers are willing to say for you, especially if you sell on Amazon. I mean, a review from one of these individuals, if they truly connect with you like this, it'll sell 100 pieces. It'll sell 200 pieces. I mean, a good review from someone who loves your brand, it'll sell it. So these are the 5 things that I'd say you need to look at, improve, optimize. If these are new concepts to you, look at it and try it out. Test it. I mean, a lot of the things that I suggested have free trials, are easy to change up. Hotjar is one of those things. You can start out with a free trial. Text message platforms, subscriber platforms. I believe even subscribers.com, the actual website that does push notifications, I believe they even have a trial up to 1,000 users. So, there are quite a few options out there. Video, anyone can shoot video nowadays. Whether you're, in your basement, whether you're at a soundstage or wherever, you can shoot a video and you can connect with people in a way that is completely different than just writing a paragraph. Making things move, making things interactive on your website, having some sort of novelty or point of, an opportunity for someone to remember your website for a certain thing or certain style, certain look. Knowing how they interact with your website. So let's just go over the 5 real quick. I think that's the best way to end this out. Optimize for the audience. Check them. Make stuff that looks like them, that they want to connect with. Make sure your website looks and sounds like them. Make sure your copy, your video, the style that you're going for connects with your audience, connects with your customers. Make sure it looks like them. It's not about you. It's not about what you want. It's about what they want. It's about making sure that they're taken care of, that they know that they're the most important thing. Number 2, know what they do. See how they interact with your website. See how they connect with you on your website. What buttons are they pushing? How far are they scrolling? What pages are not getting utilized? What pages are superfluous, honestly, unnecessary, completely in there for no reason? Know what they click on and know what they don't click on. Know where they exit. Know where they enter. Know where they came from, whether it be from another website, from another domain, from a domain you own, from a referral, from Google, from social, from wherever. Direct. Know where they came from. So know what they do. 3 is have levels of conversion. It doesn't always have to be a purchase. Entering in an email address, getting a phone number for a text message sign up, getting someone to sign up for a push notification, getting someone to subscribe to your social medias. All of these are lower level points of conversion that enable you to connect with the individual over and over and over again versus a one-time, one-off purchase that may be a financial growth for now, but if you don't collect data, then you can't connect with that individual and get them to purchase again. 4 is make things move, make things interactive, make your website interesting, make it diverse, different. Change up the layout. A/B test. Make sure that you're doing A/B tests and that you're looking at how people interact with your website, and make sure that you're making it look and feel and do different things than what every other website looks like. Awards, 3wwards.com was the website where you can go see award-winning websites. And then the last one is be everywhere, be multi-platform, be omnichannel, be in as many social media platforms, as many websites, get as many blog post referrals, get as many people who are willing to link back to you on other websites, back to your domain. Get as much of that as possible. We want to be as many places as we can. And then that also goes into the cut down strategy, which is the next my next podcast. I'm going to be talking about how to do the cut down strategy. This is something that a lot of people have talked about, but have never really put all the pieces together. So I went ahead and did that for you. I would suggest that you definitely tune in for that one. It's going to be great for both small businesses, medium businesses, as well as anybody who feels like they want to grow on social. Implementing cut down strategy is going to be huge for you. So my name is Cody. I am the owner of Bear Claw Creative. Thanks so much for listening to this podcast. Thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, you could be on my Facebook page, honestly. Thank you so much for everything, for listening to all of me talking and rambling and talking about things that I love, which is marketing. If you have any needs in the marketing world, in the creative world, Bear Claw Creative can help you. We take over social media and post for you. We can create content for you by working with an individual like myself, or we have quite a few other individuals we have worked with that can actually start making content as the individual that is connected with your brand. So if you are not a video person or someone who likes to be in front of a camera, we have people that we work with that will actually help you create YouTube videos like this, informational videos and things like that, that will connect with individuals, connect with your customer base, and start growing those social media channels. We also do website design, video, photography, all kinds of different stuff. We've connected with, Bear Claw Creative connects with the best creatives that I've worked with, as well as some of the best marketing teams or marketing individuals that I've worked with, and puts it all together under one house. So we handle all of that for you. Whatever you need, we can do it. We've done it. We can do it again, and we can help you grow your brand. If you have a need, visit bearclawcreative.com and fill out our form at the bottom of the page. You can also subscribe or, link this on your Spotify or whatever platform you're on. Just connect with this podcast, connect with this, subscribe, like, heart. I don't know what it is. Do any of those things. Again, thank you so much, and I will see you next time.